All right, guys, we're coming down to the factory like I promised you here, down in North Canton. Where Lays do all their work to their guitars. Let's go in here and find Joel. Here's Joel.
Hey, Chris.
So we're finally here at your guys' shop where you build all the guitars.
Yes, sir.
All those beautiful things we see at the Loft every time we go down there.
Yes, sir.
So, what would you like to start with? Because this is where all the magic happens, start to finish, everything's built here.
We can just start with a quick tour.
Okay, I'll follow you around then.
Right, let's go back. Well, you can see here, between Nick and I, these are our benches that we do, take things apart, set things up, do our bench work here. On this side, we do all of our fret work. We'll set up the guitar here and put it in the vise and do our fret work or anything we need to clamp up to sand or whatever it is we're doing that we need the vices for.
You got a neck coming off of this one right now?
Yeah, Nick picked up this beauty. But the joint was cracked here and the neck was flopping around. So he took the neck out and now he's trying to work on the bottom half of the heel to pull it out. So he can glue it back up and then reset the neck. He's going to take the back off this and fix the cracks and everything and then glue it back on and make sure the body's clamped back in the right place. So he's working on that. So we can go over here. This is where we do all of our sanding. These are downdraft tables, so we can cut down on some of the dust.
Right.
But there's always dust.
Yeah.
It never stops.
Especially when you're woodworking.
That's right. So we can go in here. This is our main woodworking spot. Really, in here is where we do a lot of the prep work and cutting of body blanks, necks.
This is a drum sander here?
Yeah,
Drum planer?
yeah. It's a dual drum sander. We picked this up when we came here at this shop, so it's nice. You can put your rough and your fine paper, and there's not much work to do after it comes off this fine paper.
Yeah, that's pretty slick.
Yeah. At the other shop, we still have just a single head, and usually we use a rougher paper because that's really, when you're running something through, you need a rough paper to flatten it. If you use a fine paper, you're just going to sit there all day.
Right.
Just cranking it down a little bit and send it through and send it through and send it through. Here, within a couple turns, your body blank's prepped and ready to go. So I got my computer set up where I do all my CAD work, CNC.
What do you got going on here? What is this?
This is a laser.
Laser?
So in here, I'll
you can burn your logos and stuff in headstocks. If you
yeah.
want,
So
like
it was down for a while, so I haven't been doing it, but I'll get back to doing it. Like on back of our bolt-on necks, on the back side, I'll put it in here. I got a jig. It'll line up the neck and it'll burn the serial number and just like a little patch that we have that's kind of like our logo here, and It has Dan and Joel Shin, Lays guitar. So I'll get back to using this. I just got it up and running again.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, over here I got the CNC that needs cleaned up. I was doing some work last week and just I wasn't able to clean everything up, and all my tools over here. So we can.
Well, you can't stay clean when you're working.
That's the constant battles. Is you clean up at the time after you're done making a mess.
Right.
Then once a week you go through is time to clean everything up.
Yep.
And so, and when we came over here, we got all new equipment.
That is a big belt sander.
This one's cool. I like it a lot.
I think you probably use this one to sand necks a lot, huh?
Oh, anything. Yeah. I mean, we're constantly using this.
Slick. I like that.
And this is nice because it independently goes up and down.
So you can tilt that too?
You can, yeah. But this goes up and down with the wheel. And this table it's nice, it tilts too. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. So yeah, you can tilt the table.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're doing, usually you'll tilt this if it's up here and you want to do something like that. But
Right.
you could do, now I'm looking at it, I haven't done that yet, but guess what? I can put a neck blank and sand the face at the right angle.
Yeah, you could.
Thanks for making me do this.
Absolutely.
Usually I do all that on the bandsaw and just hand flatten everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just built this probably a month and a half ago. This is kind of cool. You've probably seen different jigs for doing radius on fretboards.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, at the other shop, I had built, and I have it, I think, back in my spot where we just store stuff.
At the old shop?
But here,
Okay.
I'll show you that. But I had a big metal tube one that was all welded up by a welder. The swing, it's heavy and it's a little complicated,
Right.
especially when you need to use this for other stuff. It's a multi-purpose tool instead of just a dedicated radius jig for a fretboard. This one I made, I just dummied it down and I put it on like this. I've got holes in here and I got my bolts and everything that'll go right in a located spot. Every time I put it on, then this is the cradle, and all I do is do different radius here and a different radius here. Or I should say the matching radius. So if this is 12 inch, this is 12 inch. Then attach the board and then just go like this.
Yeah, that's slick.
It just dumbs it down, and all I have to do is make my different radiuses here. I've got pin locators that I put on each one, and then two screws on each side.
Yeah, that's ingenious.
Pull it out, put the next one on, do the same thing here, pull this out, put this on. It's got locating pins. Then I'm ready to go with the next radius. And with this going up and down,
Right.
down here, I can slowly work my way down.
Right.
So I'm not trying to, you
Like
get a
when-
piece.
Like you're running through a planer or a sander.
You want to take a little by
Just
little, especially if
at a
you've got an oily wood like
Right.
rosewood or ebony, and you try to take too much off one time, it just burns a spot in your paper, and then you're trying to pick it off. Here, you can just slowly take your time, and it works good, and it's even, on each side of the fretboard, it's even. That's the hard part, making sure everything's even.
Right.
You don't have one side thinner, one side thicker, but this worked real good.
Well, it's cool to see how you guys are doing things here because all they ever see is the finished products hanging at the loft. So,
Yeah.
and the Stratocaster that you just built yesterday, that was like the cream of the crop at the show yesterday. So now they get to see where work like that comes from. This is it.
Yeah,
And
it's fun.
Here's your man.
It's fun. I am an artist, really, and building different things and thinking about the finish or what appointments you could put on a guitar, choosing out the woods and bindings, or if I'm doing a fabric top, I just get to go wild.
Right.
And hopefully people like it. If not, they can see the work we can do.
Right.
And if they have a vision for what they want to build, then we're there to do it. They know we can do it.
Yep.
And so even at shows when we display our guitars, if we don't sell one, that doesn't stop people from coming to the booth and looking and see the possibilities of what they can have custom made. And so, and it's nice to get feedback in when you go to shows and see how people are viewing what you're doing.
Right. Yep.
Everyone likes confirmation. Artists love confirmation. Sometimes they look down on themselves
Right.
because they see maybe a flaw or something they would have did different. Sometimes, like an artist draws and he doesn't like something, he crumbles them, throws it away.
Right.
It's not that easy with a guitar. You're not gonna go dump it. So you're hoping what you've done, someone appreciates.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go to shows and you get confirmation that people are saying, I like what you're doing. Yep. And it gives them opportunity perhaps to see something if they would want, or they hear someone, I'd love to have this made. They're like, I know a guy that can do it. Yep. This shop, they can do whatever you want. And I love to work with customers and clients that know at least a little bit of what they want, but also give me a little opportunity to express myself.
Right.
And say, well, can I do this? Can I do this? And you do it, and then after you present to them, like, that was awesome. I like that. That's cool. So even like the Explorer that we had, there was the Pelham Blue.
You guys can see that at the show. It was hanging there. Yep.
Yeah, we got it in our showroom down in Akron and Kenmore. It's available. I knew I wanted to do the Carina Explorer types and V's, but I wanted to do something color.
Right.
And I said, well, if I just paint it solid, it's just like the mahogany ones that they make that you can get anywhere.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to know it's still Carina, so I did the reverse stinger on the back. That's what I wanted to do.
The one that you have laying over here now is that a Carina?
Yeah, this is Carina here.
So this is one of their Explorer builds. This is the Lay's brand.
So yeah, what I did with that Pelham Blue one, I still want everyone to know it's Carina, so I did the reverse stinger. Instead of painting it black, I taped it off, sprayed it, then peeled it back, and then you can see the Carina.
I really like how you did the headstock on that too.
Yeah, so this is reminiscent of what would have been done in the factory, and if you think about it, it's actually smart. You see the grains going this way. Mm-hmm. If the grain's going this way, you just bring this piece out. What's going to happen is you put that screw hole there or this hole. The tendency is for the wood to crack along the grain.
Yep.
And because this is tilted, it would only have a short way to go. If the headstock was straight, then these screw holes would hit the tuner hole, and that's about it. But here, it would just follow along. So cutting this and then adding this with the wood grain going this way, it avoids all that. So, and then adding this extra piece, so you can utilize a smaller piece of wood, really save from having to do, a 5-inch piece of wood, which is very hard to get a neck blank, especially in Carina that wide.
Yeah. So
here you're doing some
that
savings.
Probably makes it a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, instead of your grain going, just this way, you're adding this other piece and butting it up against there, kind of saves from having short grain. And of course, Gibson style guitar set next with Engel headstock still have that tendency to break there. So
now, does this have the same degree as a Gibson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This one, let's see what we got. We did this one a little different. This has got a zirconia board. So I like to describe zirconia kind of like a mix between rosewood and ebony.
Gotcha.
Machine's nice. The machine's real nice. Then we put our logo up top here with the mother pearl.
Yeah, now show them, you were showing me earlier.
Yeah.
So how do you do your inlays?
So I have a 3D printer. And so what I do is I print the ring, which is this ring right here. And on the CNC, I cut the mother of pearl L out. And then I take this, once I've routed it out on the headstock, and put in here the pearl, and go like this, glue it in that route, then sand that smooth, and it gets rid of the floor that's there. And that floor is necessary when you 3D print Otherwise, if it was just trying to print these, they wouldn't stick to the bed. They're too small. So this gives it a nice footprint, so it sticks to the base of the printer. But this just easily pops off or sands off after you get it in.
And then you got some Lay's logos here.
These were mock-ups for like the V style, kind of remnant of the originals that had that 3D relief logo in gold. So I wanted to do something that was reminiscent of that. So here were several of my different prototypes until I found something I liked. All these had Lay's Guitar Shop, but what we decided to do is leave this off, and we went with this size or that size, leave this off, and then on the V's we put it up like that.
Yep. Yeah, my last I got a video I did a week or two ago. Walk around through your guys' shop, and we took a look at those V's. So if they go back and look at that video, they'll be able to see those finished.
Yeah. And when I first got it, I had it for probably 6 months or so, and just playing around with it and just doing little things here and there. I just haven't had a lot of time to play with it. But the 3D printer, we can go over and look at it real quick, is great for making jigs, and if you're proof of concept prototypes, you see something on the screen, but you can have the measurements, but until you see how big it is or how small it is, oh, I need to scale that up, scale that down, or is it really going to work? So like here's a little jack. Someone had an STL file on a 3D modeling website, and this is made for like RC cars. Like someone likes to repair their RC cars, but they make like a garage.
Right.
And they'll have this little jack and have shown it, propped up. But I'm like, I can use that once I get the screw in there. I'll use that as a jack, a repair jack inside of acoustic guitars. You can just crank it up and put magnets here or there, put it inside the guitar, locate it where the crack is, and then take your hand and just jack it up. And since you're not putting a lot of pressure really on those braces or a crack or a cleat, this is perfect, sufficient enough. You don't need billet aluminum cut, on a water jet cutter or a laser cutter. This is great. And if it works, you can say, hey, that worked.
Right.
Let me make 10 of them.
Exactly.
Because you buy one of these from one of the companies that specializing in making jacks, you might only afford one.
Right.
$150 for the specialized jack, but I got 3 braces that are loose in there. So I have to go in there, fix this one, then I have to let it sit all night, then tomorrow come in, do the next one, versus
doing them all at once.
Yeah. This works. Hey, I'm going to print another one off while I'm doing my work. And then you have 3 or 4 of them, and you can fix all of them at one time. So.
And speaking of acoustics, right behind you is...
This was a prototype.
Yep.
And so...
And what kind of wood was that? I can't remember.
The wood you got.
Yeah.
You gave us this piece. It's...
I got a bunch
redwood.
of it. Yeah, redwood. Yep.
And redwood is soft but light. So this thing is, even with all these parts in it, is maybe 3 pounds.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So this is my prototype bike. It doesn't look great in there, is because when I went to go
you dissected it again.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
complete.
Yeah, and I put the Fishman Aurora system in, so you can get the different images that they have modeled different acoustics in here, which is nice with the acoustic pickup, is you can choose between what your guitar sounds like and begin to blend it in with the image of guitars they've sampled, with some vintage Brazilian Martin D45 or whatever they've modeled. And now you can start to add the image of what that guitar would sound like. And then I've got the passive pickups. These are Brandon wound pickups. I tried to do them with the Fishman Grey Cock pickups, but since they're preamp too, I just couldn't get it to work the way I wanted it.
That is a good point to point out here. You did say that when you build your guitars, you use Brandon wound pickups for the most part, unless somebody
requests something
different. So if you guys watch the guitar show that I filmed the other day, the Ohio Guitar Show, you'll see those Brandon wound pickups. We went through that table, and they're friends of yours.
Yep.
And you're going to be doing a...
We would like to, with some of the Ohio builders, we talked at the show and just throughout, we need to help each other.
Right.
I mean, especially on social media.
We'll say it that way.
Yeah, and we want to do a collaboration where all of us are coming together on a part of a guitar. You know, someone builds the body and designs it the way they want. Someone builds the neck design that they want. The electronics. So I still got to get with Zach and Chase Gullett down in Columbus.
Stay tuned for that. When they get it done, I'll chase it down.
Yeah, and then see what happens with it. You know, we still need to talk to see what we would like to do with that. But it'd be like a great collaboration. Just, you know, what can be done here in Ohio is great. I mean, Spurzle tuners, we use that a lot on my new builds.
You know, if I'm looking for something,
if I'm looking for something that's vintage, you know, you're gonna go with Clusons or something like that, or Grovers. Depends on what it is. But if I'm doing a new modern build, I'm gonna use, if I can use them. They're hot here in Ohio. Support each other. Been around for years. Some of them are custom of ours.
Same with the Stay in Tune strings.
Stay in Tune string.
Akron.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the founder of Stay in Tune, Virgil Lay, was the original owner of our shop. And then my brother Dan came in 1979. Was an apprentice. Was there almost 10 years, and then within that time, Virgil started experimenting with strings, trying to make them stay in tune longer. But finally, he got to the point where he wanted to wind his own strings. So when it hit that point around '88 is when he sold the repair business, because he went full time with the strings.
With the strings, yeah.
And so they're still doing great. They're 5 minutes away from our shop down in Akron. And that's what we use on all of our guitars. When we're building something, when we set it up, that's what we use.
And I just bought a buttload of them too, yeah.
They're great strings. They're just not as well known as, you know, some of the other manufacturers, Diodario and GHS and all these other strings.
I used to put Dunlop on them all the time.
Yeah, Dunlop.
And then when I started getting finish work done, I was like, well, what kind of strings are these? And you guys said, and ever since then I started buying them. So.
Yeah, so even when we do repair work, and we're going to set up someone's guitar, level crown and polish, and they come in and we said, well, do you have a set of strings you want us to put on? And they're like, well, I don't have anything, but I play 10s or I play 9s or whatever. And said, well, we're going to put the SITs on, and they'll be set up for your gauge that you want, and they pick it up and they end up loving the strings, and they'll either buy them for themselves, or every time they come in, just put the SITs on.
Right.
So
you guys were in the old shop since '79, right?
In Kenmore, it was in a basement.
Okay.
It was in a basement, couple blocks down from where it is now.
Okay.
And then we moved over to the location we're at now in '94. I think it was '94. Okay. I came in '91, and so we were in the basement, and there was a diner above us. And if their coffee maker spilled over, it came through the old wood floors, and we come in and there's a puddle of coffee. If in the one area they had their refrigerators and they defrosted them or something, it would just come down in the shop.
That's awful.
And
come a long ways.
Yeah, so we got out of there. Dan bought the building in Kenmore that we're at now, and we've been there since about '94. And now we've added the showroom upstairs, so we're carrying about 6 or 7 dealers, we're dealers for different makers, manufacturers, Acoustic, Bourgeois, Santa Cruz, Husson Dalton, Adele.
Working with Hofner now too, right?
So yeah, we are a dealer for them, but what we're doing with them is our custom USA pieces.
Right.
And so I do the finish work on them, and I put them together, and so it's kind of like a quasi custom shop.
Right.
And so we did a lot of similar finishes I do on my modern stuff with the cloth tops. We did 2 or 3 of those, and we sold those.
Yeah.
People loved that.
I remember those. They went quick.
Yeah, did like a all Gibson gold.
Yep.
Did a black, did a Sherwood green, and did a burgundy mist.
And they can see all those on the videos from your shop too,
past
as well.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, the past videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of the finish, would you like
Yep.
to?
Let's go over to the finish booth. Hey, we're kind of slim right now. We got a lot of work done, and so there's not a lot in the booth right now.
Right.
But you can see some other projects that are en route here. I just finished this up. I've been waiting. As a matter of fact, Zach at the show this weekend gave us the pickups, the custom wound pickups that are going in this piece here. So this week I'm going to get it.
And this is your brand.
Yeah. So this was a custom order from a customer. He wanted like a 60s profile, but with the reverse
Is that
Explorer
a Kaler?
type.
It is a Kaler.
And that's a Kaler. And so I have the custom pickguard I have to make, and then drop the pickups in and wire it. So that'll be done this week. And then he wanted a small, super small block.
Oh yeah, those are.
Yeah. So there's things that he wanted that you're just not going to be able to get unless you have someone custom make it.
It's unique specs. Yeah.
Here's what I'm building. This guy's been patient. Thank you, Frank. This is all his little design elements that he wanted in a guitar. This is going to get, the red side is going to get a swirl finish, black swirl on all the red side over here, and it's even half and half back here.
And it's just the opposite of the front. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And this is, what did I do? What length? It's a baritone. Can't remember what scale length I did this. It might have been 28?
28.
I can't remember. And then he's going to put a bass tuner so he can drop it.
That's crazy.
So.
That's what I like. I like crazy builds. You know, that's why I tried to do with that silver burst, is just make it stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For just to do it, you know.
Yeah, this is cool too. What took me a while is these actually have LED lights in them. So I can't show you because I got it masked off. But there's LED lights for the fretboard markers and for the side dots.
That's cool.
So he'll be able to turn them on and they're red to match.
They run off a 9-volt inside the.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the battery box for that. And so I'll have a switch. I think I'm going to put it on the back of the battery box. There's a little switch I can add, and he can turn it on and off
without opening it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the dots are already red. The material I used is red, but it looks solid,
It's like
opaque,
transparent, though.
but it has a slight transparency. So when I turn on the LEDs, then it shines bright red.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So then I got some other little telly projects of some different things I'm doing.
What kind of wood is that?
This actually is, this was ash, swamp ash, but it's got some funky
some
coloring going on.
Yeah, some grays and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like here's one I'm doing as well. This has got a, let's go over here. I'm going to show you because it's sanded. It's kind of dull.
You gonna rub some naphtha on it?
Yeah, let me stay right there. I'll be right back. Let's grab this. It's alcohol, but it works.
Oh man.
They call this reconstituted. They take thin pieces of wood and I think they kind of like crush it under pressure and glue it. So it has all these funky patterns, and when they sand through it,
yeah, that's nuts.
It's just like a puzzle, you know. There's no rhyme or reason where the grain goes, but it is wood.
Yeah,
it's wood. So now what I have to work on is I'll make my custom binding. I use epoxy.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a trough that I will use epoxy in different colors, mica powders, dyes, and you might have seen on some of my other guitars I build. Like I'll purposely match the binding to match the color I'm doing it. Or
well, a good example, if they go to your guys' site right now and look at the Les Paul you just finished, you made all that binding and the inlays
with the tie-dye top.
Yes.
Yeah. Tie-dye top. Yeah, the custom binding is I did, and then even the inlay work is I took out the old mother pearl trapezoids that were in it, and I made a sheet of epoxy with the dyes and things, and a couple little tricks to make it look textured, look like little bubbles.
And for people that don't know, that was a studio. That's like
that's a 1990 studio, so it's got
good
good wood, the Honduran mahogany, one-piece body. So it's a good guitar. And they did it right back then, even though it wasn't a standard, didn't come with the binding, the appointments like a standard would.
Right.
Maybe not a nice top. It was painted probably black. I can't remember, but I think it was black. So that was their trimmed down value version of a Les Paul, but it was good wood, you know.
Yep.
Today's different, where they're slapping together 4 or 5 pieces of cutoffs from the body blanks they're using for their historics or whatever it could be, one-piece bodies, and then they're clamping them up and then painting them a solid color.
And speaking of woods, so you guys, for the most part, you just use traditional woods that they use to make guitars unless customer requested, or you decide to use something different?
If I'm building it on spec for myself, I just want to build something, I'll use anything. I'll use anything. For our builds, like our necks, now this is a matching, just to get back, this is a matching piece. This is the epoxy color I mixed up that matches this.
Yeah, that looks good.
And this is a roasted maple board. And you can see I put the veneer, this veneer there too. So this neck is matched with this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So if I'm gonna do a run of necks, and that's what happened is I did a run of necks, I don't want to build one at a time. It takes you more time to set up a tool, set up the CNC, you know, and you do one, and then, you know, the next time I need to run a neck, I need to reset everything up, which is time.
So just run a bunch and you got them ready to pull out of the
Yeah, I had probably like 6 or 7 roasted maple blanks. I had some walnut, I'll show you in a minute, some walnut that was super light. I said, I'm gonna make necks out of that. So I got like 6 necks out of that. I was like, if I'm gonna run one, I needed to make one.
Right.
I think it was for a customer. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and
make a bunch of them.
Yeah. And so, and I knew I really like doing outline. If it's gonna be blocks, I like outlines. I don't like to see a whole block where you're missing that wood.
Yeah, that's why I don't like the big blocks inlays, because it covers too much of the fretboard.
Yeah, and even my dots, I'll do that, an outline dot. And it just sets it apart. It's like a moniker, you know. I can tell you did that because, you know, as a maker, you like to do that.
Right. That design.
So, yeah, this I just got to finish up. It's been so busy, I haven't had to put this to side because this isn't for a customer. It gets done when I have time to do it. So over here we have some of the
walnut necks.
Yeah, the other necks.
Oh, he's touching mine.
Yeah, so this was cool piece of walnut. And so all the fretboard is from the same log as the neck
that's what I
blanks.
asked you earlier. I mean,
you can see that
it's the real light material in here.
Yeah, and each one's a little different, you know, but they're all from the same
block of wood.
piece. And then here's the outline dots. And this is super light. Super light. maybe a little bit later on we can get a weight on some of this stuff.
Yeah, they look really good. And
This one's got a slight burst on it.
yeah, I like that.
For some reason I was like, you know what this needs
Yep.
is just a tad of
It's
color.
not as dark as the one at the show.
Yeah, I did that one a little bit darker.
Yeah, but it's
Like
just
this
subtle
one.
enough. Yeah.
Like this one is.
Yep.
No, I guess not. Yeah, over there it looked darker, but
Yeah, it looked a little darker, but yeah. The one at the show has had a little.
actually, I think the
more.
one at the show too is I bursted it around the headstock. I think
I didn't take it off the rack, so.
sometimes I put things together and I forget what I made. This one here, this one goes with that acoustic
The one that you made out of the chunk of wood that I gave you?
acoustic electric
Yeah.
guitar. Yeah.
Is that ebony? The fretboard on that?
This is Rich Light.
Rich light.
Like Rich Light is great because it machines so nice. There's no grain. You can take a bit and actually take the chunk of, wood out. And when you're putting the frets in, sometimes even with pressing frets, it can fracture the
Really?
wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
But those lay in super, super nice. Super
Yeah, I like
nice.
those.
And so here, this was the line when I was making that other neck for that purplish guitar. I just did a run neck. So this, I don't know what I'm going to put on, but I did the same thing. I ran a maple veneer on this one too.
So, is that something you put in between
Yeah.
the fretboard neck? I got you.
Yep. So once I profiled it, I put this maple veneer on the neck blank, rod for the truss rod, then put the fretboard on.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
Yeah, it just gives it a little touch of, I think, elegance.
Have you ever done any 3 or 5 piece necks yet?
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Actually, if you look at the ones we had to show, there's one I just finished up. It's like my own design, like offset looking piece. I put two Brandon Wound humbucks in it. That has the veneers and it's the same reconstructed wood as the veneer in that purple one, but it's blue. It's blue like this. And that is a 3-piece neck. It's a 3.
Oh, wow.
That one that we had at the show was a 3-piece Carina, and these were laminated stringers in the
Yeah.
neck, and I did them around the neck heel, and I did it around the body before I put the top on. So it's got a blue line around the body,
Yeah.
and then I did them around the back plates. So
I'll have to check that one out. I didn't catch that.
yeah, that's got the maple burl top.
Okay.
And it's chambered, it's lightweight, rings. It's got, it's a flat top guitar. I mean, electric, just slap body,
Right.
but it's got a set neck and a tilted back headstock, angled headstock. So it's kind
I couldn't keep my eyes off that Strat and that 24
Ah.
scale telly when I was there. That's why I didn't notice it.
So yeah, and then here, so you were asking about what kind of woods we would use. Besides traditional wood, this is a wood that, if you look at it, so it's reminiscent of, for me, swamp ash, but it's a little darker. It almost looks like a roasted swamp ash. This is called catalpa. This is a domestic wood. It grows a lot around
Tulip
here.
tree. Catalpa.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's tulip tree. We have one in our front yard. I saved it. It's huge. Yeah, they get
Big.
big, and they have beans that grow like a foot long. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
tulip.
Yeah, tulip tree, catalpa, same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So where I was getting my supply of swamp ash, it's getting harder and harder to get because of the beetle that went through, or that still might be going
Asian
through.
longhorn beetle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what,
ALD.
10, 15 years ago when it kind of started, and it's harder and harder to get ash. So you look for alternatives, and this is a good alternative. The guy I get this from, he monikered it Appalachian ash.
Appalachian ash.
So I just did a base a custom base, a Telecaster base with like a. When the wife calls, you have to answer.
Yeah, you don't not answer the wife.
And she's getting some clothes for me, so.
Right? Yeah, you got to answer then.
She takes care of me. So, but yeah, we can go take a look here. Yeah, well, I think I was saying that I made a Telecaster style bass, and it rings. So this is a good alternative to swamp ash.
It's swamp ash, and that's the catalpa, which is a tulip tree.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I haven't done it yet. Even if you wanted to do like a 3-tone sunburst or 2-tone sunburst, something more reminiscent of a vintage piece. I have a white stain that doesn't cover up the grain, but almost like if you put it in a light coat, it almost bleaches the wood.
Right.
I've had to do that, like if I have, some guy wanted like a bright blue. It looks great on maple, but doesn't look great on darker woods if like you wanted a mahogany body. It would look like two different pieces. So what I did is...
What do you have to use a lighter primer?
Well, since it's see-through, you can't use a primer.
That's true, yeah.
So this acts like a bleaching. I put it on and it lightened the wood up, and I got it to where it matched the color of the maple. Then when I put the blue on, it was like an electric blue. And so they both matched. Right. So that's what I was thinking with this. We could put a light coat of that stain, then apply, your yellow, a shader, and then do your bursts or something like that around it. Even if you want to do blonde, it would look great. I think so. So I've only did a couple bodies out of this, but I have a stack ready to go when I get some more orders. And so what's going to happen is even some of my own builds, I just want to build something, I'll start using this.
Right.
And trying it out. And it's lightweight. So it'll
Some
be
people
good.
like the lightweight.
Yeah. It's not well, the piece I did with that body actually was super lightweight. But this is lightweight, but not overly lightweight where you get a lot of neck dive or anything. And if you pair it up, depends on what you pair it up with. Like if I paired it with this, there's no neck dive in this. This is so light. And a lot of times your roasted maple is slightly lighter too, because of the process. So you're not going to get neck dive if you have a super light body.
Right.
So
I've always liked the non-weight relief bodies, you know.
Yep. So we just got a lot of our, like our fretboard blanks. Here's some Brazilian. We got, so these will go on, I think on our next run of the Explorers, we'll use something like this. Because on the other one, I used Indian Rose, the other batch, I used Indian Rosewood, that's Cody, Macassar Ebony.
What's this one here? It's multicolored.
This is, it's ebony, moon ebony. I think it's moon ebony or Gaboon ebony. This was from, someone sent it to me and it's been here for years. Just haven't used it.
Definitely good and hard now.
Yeah. So we also get, like, here's a Cody. Some ebony blanks. Now I love this. This is Macassar ebony. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
That's just beautiful. What else we got here? We got some Coca-Cola.
That almost looks like rosewood.
Yeah, well, Coca-Cola is a form of rosewood. So this when you cut it up, if you look, like, this hasn't been machined,
right,
and almost turns a brown. This sides were machined and
it's got the reddish,
and sand in it, so the oranges will come out.
Yeah.
But it also, once you get on a guitar, it'll start to warm up and turn a little bit more brown, but still going to be a brighter board.
Right.
And I even did one of the I think it was a V I did in that, and I know it's different, But even at the show, one guy said, "What is that? I love that."
Right.
And here's some. This is a different form of Madagascar. This is Madagascar, excuse me. This is Madagascar. This is Madagascar rosewood right here. It's kind of light color. Usually, Madagascar is a darker rosewood. It's a good alternative for Brazilian, Indians getting harder.
Right.
But the Madagascar rosewood is nice. That's another piece of the Macassar. Let me see if there's anything else cool in here. And most of these are zirconium. Here's a nice piece. I like this coloring in here.
Oh yeah. I really like when you get the lighter stripes and stuff.
Oh, before, the factories, they wanted dark ebony, no streaks.
Constantly, yeah.
Rosewood,
Solid.
no streaks. And now, because you just can't get that anymore, and a lot of hand makers are like, well, why not use this wood's beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
And they're making guitars with these wild, figured woods or colors that just aren't traditional, and that's a part of why you hand make. You want to use, you're putting this together. This will look great. This will look awesome together, and you put it together, and it makes not just a tool that you can use to make music, but it's beautiful at the same time.
Right.
It can be just as much art
Yep.
that inspires you, and it gives even your audience or whoever you're playing for, it adds a different dimension. Just listening, it's now visual too.
So what got you and Dan into
My dad.
your dad?
Yeah. My older brother Kenny, I wasn't born yet, so these are the stories I hear.
Right.
I need to talk to him. But I said to my dad, we need to make a guitar. My dad said, you can't do that. But my dad was always a handyman. He always was designing something or fixing something in the house.
Right.
He did auto body work, paint work, but that wasn't his job. I mean, that's what he did
For fun.
for fun or out of necessity.
Right.
Having 10 kids. I'm the youngest of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So a couple of days later, my dad came, we might be able to build one. And that's what started. In our garage, I'll show you some of the jigs I still have.
Yeah.
Yeah. He began building and did some electrics. Wound it, took the sewing machine, put the bobbin on the sewing machine and took wire like this. Yeah.
That's great.
Pretty rudimentary, but it served purpose. It worked.
Done. Yeah.
It worked. And several years back, there was a guy that came in this other shop, and he had a plastic bag. And he comes in, someone told me you might be able to tell me what this is. And he takes the bag out, and my brother Dan said, my dad built that. That was the first ones he did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we still have it at the shop. Dan said, you're not leaving with that guitar.
Because Dad made it.
Yeah,
Yep.
so he gave him a guitar, gave him some money, and we have it up on display in there. It's not a pretty looking
You'll
thing.
have to point that out too. I probably seen it 100 times and just didn't realize.
Yeah, it's
that's
not
what it
pretty,
was, yeah.
but it's part of our history. So when that original garage burnt down, he lost all of his tools, all his jigs, everything. When I was 8 or 9, and then we rebuilt the garage. He rebuilt the garage, and then I had to start making all his jigs again. By the time he was doing mainly acoustics, and so he had to redo everything. All his jigs, all his side bending forms. I remember being in the house, and he had this steel pan they had made up and welded, and he'd bring it in, put it on the stove, my mom's stove, fill it with water, and boil wood so
You
it'd
could
become
bend it,
flex.
Yeah. Make it pliable. Yeah.
Yeah. And then at one time he had this, if it in the winter's too cold, then he put some tools in the basement, start working in the basement. So that's what we grew up with.
Right.
So we were always around it. So my brother Dan down in Kenmore, he he got the bug and began working for Virgil, and then stuck with it. And then I wasn't into guitars at all. I went into my art gig. I took classes in high school, vocational classes for commercial advertising. So I wanted to become an artist, a designer, logo designer, things like that. And then Dan says, I need some help. Come work for me. I'm like, I'm finishing school first. I finished, and then it's like, well, I still need a job. And said, you still got some work? Yeah. And been here ever since.
Right.
So, but that's why I've said by nature, I'm an artist. So doing and designing guitars on the CNC, hand making, putting these pieces of wood together, doing different things, gets those artistic juices flowing, and it's an outlet to create.
It's fun creating, yeah.
It's fun creating. So over here we got some other projects we're working on, and here's some more stash of wood that we got going on. I got bodies that I started, and
I see spalted maple in there.
Oh yeah, I got some cool spalted stuff here.
How does that stuff work when you're trying to, like, does it tend to split?
This, you can feel this is pretty solid. So from my understanding, what happens with the spalting is if a tree is felled or falls, you can look at that end where the rings are, right?
Correct, yeah.
Especially if it landed in like a pasture where there's cows and stuff like that. The urine, the feces, and it falls, and the bacteria gets in it and shoots up it.
I gotcha.
So it's actually starting to rot. So you have only so much time before it. I've got a piece. Let me show you this piece.
There's a fine line between good and punky.
Before it goes away.
Yeah.
Before it's too punky and you just can't use it anymore. Here's some pieces that have it. So this little area has already gone, but there's still good portions of it. This isn't going to affect anything. We'll just cut around it. You can see it starts to go. So you only have so much time before you have to get it out of there and kiln it and cut it up, and so. But yeah, we have different tops here ready to go. It's actually, you can't see it a lot, but you put naphtha on there, and you can see that bubble quilt.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Yeah,
It just has some spalting in it. So I got different tops ready to go. So whatever inspires me, or if a customer comes in, what do you got? I can show them different pieces, and then we'll start designing something from there. So I got a lot of cool pieces that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Let's see what else we got here. This is just. Here's a figured spalted maple.
Yeah, that looks good too.
I think this
That's crazy.
I think this is maybe Buckeye. I can't remember, but I did a telly top, and it had these little pieces in there, and I
fill them with epoxy.
Clear epoxy.
Clear epoxy, yeah.
Yeah, it looked.
That's got a lot of grays and gray blues in it. That's crazy.
When you put the finish on it, there's a greater contrast. It looks cool.
Yeah.
Between the brownish, the gray, and the light colored, it pops.
I bet.
It really pops.
That's crazy looking.
Now here's another piece that's just nuts.
Yeah, that's got.
I'm trying to think.
Holy crap.
This may. It's hard to book match this because it's not like figure that kind of goes through it. This spalting is hit and miss. So if you're gonna do book match, once you cut it and open it, you can't take a lot of material because it starts to change.
Right.
It's like typography; it keeps changing as you cut down through it.
Kind of like the wood over there where they pressed it.
Yes. Yeah. You can see here, it kind of followed, and it mirrors some. But if I sand this down a little bit, it's going to change. It'll look completely different.
Yeah, that's a change.
Here's another piece. Now this is the exact same stuff I did on the offset one I just designed that you say you haven't seen yet with the carina back. It's the same type of pattern. So I'll split this open and book match it. So it's just some cool different pieces.
It's got some bird's eye in it.
Yeah.
I almost bought a Stratocaster bird's eye at the show.
That's cool. Look, it's got some flame, some bird's eye.
Yeah, that's a good looking piece.
So, as I said, you know, if someone wants to make a guitar, you need to don't try to. You know, I want a three-tone alder Telecaster. It's like, go buy it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'll make it for you, but you're going to spend a lot more money than what you can buy for just because it's handmade. Versus, if you're going to do it, go down this route and make yourself a custom piece you just can't get without it being handmade.
Exactly.
You know, so you get a piece of wood like this and you become inspired to begin to create. If I'm going to do dyes, what color?
I'm sure you've built many guitars around one piece of wood. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It can be just one little thing that kind of sets it off. Even like with those veneers I put on there in the blue, I bought those and so this is what I want to showcase, and then you start building around it.
Right.
Because it's just unique, you know. You just don't see it on.
It's like buying a motor before the car.
Yeah, yeah. If you know the motor you want,
something, yeah,
and you know what you want to do with it, and you get it, and then you wait for the right car to come along that needs to be restored or the right frame size or whatever it is, you're going to build around it. So here's our spray booth. So this, did you take video of the other shop?
Yes. Yeah, we have.
Did you go back by the spray booth and everything?
Yeah, matter of fact, when we came down and checked on the Silver Burst,
okay, you went in.
We went into that spray booth.
Well, if anyone has seen that video, you can see this is.
Yeah, way bigger.
This is way bigger. This is what I needed. I couldn't do the work that I needed to do down there, and plus we had 3 other techs down there. And you feel like I got to be careful if I don't want to bump anything. And here, I've got space, so you know I built a couple racks. I got plenty of room back here. I built some more racks in this space here, so I can. If for some reason it's like, hey, you know, someone says I want to build these guitars, but I want someone to do finish work. We got space for it.
And this was at one point a guitar manufacturing company?
No.
Or was it a laundry?
No, what the guy did is the front half of the building, which we rent out right now, he did metal finishing. So he did a lot of, gold plating, zinc plating, depending on what work he had. So he had these big plastic vats lined up in the front and all this wiring going back. And on the other side, I'll show you where the storage is, these huge transformers. And they were heavy. They were probably 500 pounds each when we had to get them out of here. And he just did plating. Back here was the finishing side where they had the buffers, these huge big buffers for polishing out whatever they plated or wherever they were going to plate. Then in here, this was a conveyor system. I can't turn it on right now, and I am eventually going to use it. I'm just not using it now. That would slowly wind around, and he was doing a lot of novelty things pieces for the NFL.
Gotcha.
The little collector's helmets with the teams on it, and he was cranking those out. So he'd have them hang, and they would go in. That was all open. Well, it was only open so far. I opened it all the way because later on, if I want to use it and I've got a neck through or a set neck,
a bass
or acoustic or whatever, or a Les Paul, it didn't have enough space to open. That's the only reason why I'm not using it yet, because I still have some construction I have to do. Let me turn. These are blowing, so it would come through, and there was a piece here that had, it looked like a gear with these notches in it, and as these would come around, it hit those notches and spin, and the guy would just sit here like this, and it'd spin itself. Then it would go through here, which, as I said, I need to cut this out so I can do full size bodies. And then they had a heater back there. It heated, and it didn't move very fast, and it would just work its way all the way back on the opposite side, work its way back where we were back here. He had some other heaters here. It just worked its way back, and because he was doing lacquer dries fast anyways, and you put heat on it, it dries super fast. And it would come back through for the next coat.
Does lacquer still do a lot of cobwebs when you're spraying it?
Like weather checking?
Like you get like cobwebs from the paint?
A lot from the overspray.
Yeah, is that changed now, or is it
still
like that?
It's still, because it's only like 30% solids. A lot of it's going in the air, and a lot of it ends up as overspray. Right. So you get a little hair, and it starts building up on the hair, and then you got to keep up on cleaning. Versus a lot of your 2-part stuff is what goes on stays on,
right?
And if it sticks to the filters, it's not going anywhere. But lacquer is, you only have so far where it's wet. Out here, it's dry dust,
right?
And it's just going to fall or collect and start to build up and things like that. So you got to constantly make sure your booth is clean, sweep down. And if you see it, you're saying, wow, you got water that's, you must got a leak. No, Nick was in here spraying a little bit ago. This is piled up a little bit. We don't usually have it like that. But we'll throw water down.
That keeps
sweep it all around out here and here. And that way, if the dust hits, it stays down. Because if you don't do that, just any little bit of wind can make it come up and go right in your finish. That's why I don't like to spray white. It's pain in the butt to get it to where you don't get any specks and things like that in it. So
show them what you're doing here with these J200s. Got a heck of a collection here.
So this is for one of our customers that's been patient. But we redid all the binding. It was more like this. And we took all the binding off and added the abalone and the layers and did the sound holes. We added the veneer with this rose in it, added binding, headstock binding, and then I don't have one that doesn't have it, but there's this vine pattern with roses in it. It's kind of like this.
Yeah, similar to that, but it don't have the stuff down the side.
Now this is from Gibson. It's like that.
It's got a hummingbird in it.
Yes, this is This was a hummingbird model, but they really made it ornate. And so basically, these are be finished, and this is an original Gibson. I didn't redo anything here. I'm just doing the finish work. So you can see how this is like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's impressive.
But the bridges have to have some abalone inlay in it too, and unfortunately these, you're thinking, well, they're all J200, but the bridge locations in where the holes are can be forward for the strings, can be forward or back.
Really?
So I'm having to make I'm thinking, I'm just gonna make up new ebony bridges with inlays, but each one's a little different.
Really?
So
So is there a reason for that? Did they?
I don't. They're probably just from different years,
Right.
Slightly different models. They're all, you know, J200, but it's a slightly different model. So, and that's been a lot of work.
These Graycos, are these polyurethane? Or?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It is. This had some damage to it and to the binding. And I have to touch up, but this is aged, so it's not just a, hey, I'm just gonna put this white yellow color on it. It's not that easy. We'll get it done though. We can go this way. This is some of my other woodworking tools. I just didn't have room back in the other spot. But doing some processing here for breaking down bigger pieces, and then when it's time to glue up like a flame maple top, we got the joiner, my planers here, which is filled with the project I was just doing. I got to clean this up, but this has a helical head. Have you ever seen the helical? Mm-hmm. They have the individual cutters versus just a straight blade. This is almost, I'd say, a must for if you're doing anything that has a lot of figure in it.
What do you got going on there?
This is a shaper. Let's walk around here. This my joiner also has the helical head. Yeah. Great. It almost comes off of here, and you don't need to do any more work. But if you had a straight blade joiner and you're doing figured maple, you can only take a small amount because it will just take that chunk it out.
Yeah.
So here is a shaper.
It's strange that,
and it's got, I put the helical head on here too.
It's strange that this won't chip it out, but a straight one will. You know.
And you see it, they have them angled back. Mm-hmm. So it's not all here. So as it cuts, it starts in one area and works its way down this way. Versus if you just have it coming across that figure and it just takes one whole piece out at one time versus it almost acts like it's slicing it.
Right. Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
This piece is it. You have to have a healthy fear of power equipment. Mm-hmm. Your saws in your planer, your joiner, you can stay away from a lot of the moving pieces. Even on a saw, even though you might have small pieces, you can get little
push sticks
and things like that. Here, this does have the bearing on it.
But that's
it's like a router with a bearing, right? But let me plug this in. You'll hear this beast as it winds up. I don't use this as much because I do a lot of CNC stuff. But let's say I was doing one guitar and I wanted to do some of the shaping. I didn't want to put on the CNC. I could put a template on and run it against this. And sometimes I'll even do is I'll use a template and with the quick router down that much, do the first cut, take the template off, and now I can run it and then hit that bearing.
I gotcha.
And finish shaping, but this is look at the sorry, I'll have to blow off with air. But that thing, that's scary.
Yeah, that is very scary.
That's scary.
And you don't want to stick your finger in it now.
Absolutely not. So those little pieces there, they're pins, like a starting pin. So what you would do is and I can put it here. So if you took it out and put it here, and I was gonna cut, you could hit it and slowly work into the piece.
Gotcha.
Versus just going in it like this and everything is hitting that side. You would come to a side, and then once you started, it's pretty good. Right. But you don't. If you've got that bearing, you don't really need that. If you get good at it. You know what angle to come in and then start it and run around. And then I can get different sizes of this to, like, if I want to go in a cutaway. This definitely won't go in, but it's nice to cut the body contours, you know, the waists in around the bottom half of the guitar. This size makes quick work, and it's clean. It's like you take a fine sandpaper and it's there. It's there. These are time-saving tools that give you the best finish possible.
Even though it's time-saving, it's a ton of work.
Yeah. But it's also giving you the best quality. When I came over here, I didn't want to rinky-dink this, rinky-dink that. It's like, if you're going to do it, get the equipment. Yeah. So if you scale up, you're not, you buy this equipment for $1,000, but now you scale up, and it's like, that's not going to handle it. So now I got to find something else.
Yep.
So
you might as well just get right out of the gate, and then you're done. You don't have nothing to worry about.
Right.
This is your booth.
Oh yeah, this was we just brought this in. Yeah, this is our display booth for the guitar show we just did. So I made that here. I spent last week making this and the sign. I ran the sign on the CNC and painted it up and
it looks a lot different without all those pretty guitars hanging on it.
Yeah. But we're ready for the next show. Actually, we found out this was so much faster to put up real quick, put the hangers on, versus they have the tables at the shows. You got to take out a stand for each one, adjust it. Right. Then you put the guitar on, and then you put one right beside it, and you hope you don't hit it.
I hope nobody knocks it
off. And I'm like tense all day because, and you don't realize you are.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're worn out because you're worried, is it going to slide off? Is it going to get bumped? Is someone going to hit the table like this and one falls forward? But it made a great display, and it utilizes the vertical space better versus on a table. You can't go any higher. You could put one down on the floor and do a two-tier. But then if you have them here and they want to look over, now you're worrying about if them walking and bumping them over here. This worked out real good. Yeah, it did. I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to work until we get everything on it, but it worked out real good.
It did. It worked out real good.
And I really liked that design. And it's expandable because each one's a panel. So for some reason, we get more guitars and we want to get more booth space. All I do is make another one, and I put the hinges on it, screw them in there. Nick just did a body fill on there. He's putting body filler on the wood. We'll show you a little thing we do, a little trick up there in a few. But yeah, I can add more panels. And you don't put them straight. You put them like this, and they can handle the weight and the load that way. And then I put these little stringers on top, and it stops it from going like this. So it worked out great. Here is storage. We just start piling stuff in there. This wood we got, that's like oak, hickory, cherry, to make, like I made the stands out of there. So if there's something we need to make, it could be jigs or
I just salvaged some 18 and 20 inch oak boards that are probably 100 plus years old.
Wow. Yeah, you can see a couple of those pieces are super wide. Most of them are 5 to 6 inches. Great for doing any kind of frame work or case working. So we can build what we ever need to build, any cabinet space or shelving or anything like that we can build. Now I told you about
all your jigs.
Okay, yes. Do I have more? I gotta have more down here that were from my dad. I thought I brought them here. Oh yeah, here's like some of the stuff I got from my dad. Here's some of his jigging.
Is that a jumbo?
No, that looks like almost like a slope shoulder or something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what he would do is he would after forming it, he put it in, and these were like little. He had these big pieces of like wood discs that he inlaid nuts in, and so when he wanted to glue the top, he put it on, and and it would put even pressure all the way around. Flip it over and do the back. Yeah, I still might have my other jigs. I thought I brought them down here. They still might be at my house in the garage. But yeah, I still have a lot of his old forms. Then some of these forms are mine that I've been making and building.
That's for making the sides of an acoustic.
Yeah, so here I did this and then laminated it with some sheet metal.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be solid. This one I made was solid, but that's a lot of work. And then I caught on and said, you know what? I made, plywood here, here, and here, and put little pieces of wood to kind of span them, and just covered it with this.
Yeah, that's...
And it's solid.
Yep. Lighter, too.
Sounds hollow, but it's pretty solid to bend. And then, like, here's a side form.
Oh, yeah.
And this was like, I think this was like a tailor type cutaway build that I did. And then these two pieces go together.
People probably don't realize how much stuff you got to build before you can start building.
Yeah. And you gotta, it's like building a house, you have a good plan. And sometimes you vary away from it, but you have to have a plan to start with.
Yep. With
a process.
I can see the flame in that from here, so that's going to be a nice piece.
Oh yeah, here's a lot of this is maple. Got some black limba,
is that the
Carina limba wood.
I always want to say mamba. I don't know why.
Limba or Carina. But yeah, this is a lot of our stock of flame maple that we might use. This might be like neck material here.
Yeah, I could see the flame in that from way over there.
Even though I've been really, if I'm gonna build our necks, I just rather use roasted. Yeah. It just gives you...
I think it's got a better look myself.
Oh, if it's got a lot of the stuff I get is like they consider 1A. Mm-hmm. That's all they carry is 1A up to master grade. They don't carry plain.
Right.
But their 1A is considered plain, but it all has a little bit of flame in it. You roast it. As soon as you put a finish on it, even if it has just a little bit, it looks nice. You don't have to have a whole bunch of flame.
Right.
Versus if you just had, plain maple, it looks kind of plain. Mm-hmm. Even if there's a little figure, you really can't see it, but you roast it and it just pops like as if you stained it and sanded it back.
Right.
So I'm not using this a lot. If someone says I don't want roasted, I'd use that and make a neck out of. And then here is our stash of Carina that we got. We had to order it in when you order it from a mill, they're not
hand picking it for you. You get whatever the...
Not like when you buy guitar body blanks that have all been gone through.
Yep.
And the bad areas have been cut out. And you say, why is a body blank $100, $150?
Well, I've seen them more than that. Yeah.
And up, depending on what it is. Yeah. Versus if I can get this whole piece for, $200. Look, I can get, but you get this in, and this was not, I planed this stuff up, so it looked like this.
Right.
And you can't see a lot of the imperfections. Yeah. So you begin to plane it, and then you find out, well, guess what? There's a bug that likes Carina, and go in there, because it's kind of dark in here, but you can see all the little pinholes. Yeah. So that section will be cut out. And mainly it goes up in this area and down here. Now, so, I mean, I can't use this if I'm doing a replica.
Right.
A Carina replica of a V Explorer.
You could use that up on like
strap tellies that you're going to be painted.
Yeah, telly stuff like, even if you've seen it, because some people are doing like barnwood builds.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing a replica,
right,
that's not okay.
It's a bummer when you,
right,
yeah, and you need it for certain things, and yeah, I get it.
And unfortunately, this cost me the same amount as this clean one here. You know,
right.
So I start separating. Like here, this is clean, but you can see it's starting to go towards like black limba. So this has like a gray in it, which will be great for a bolt-on body. Mm-hmm. It'll look great, but I just can't put this on a replica.
Right.
It's just not going to look good. So I start separating things out. What looks the cleanest? What I might use this on a body, even down in here, but I'm not going to use this on the neck. No. So I'm going to try to find my straightest grain for the neck. So I got little things separated here and there. I mean, you can see I marked some areas where it had that little bug in there.
Yeah, that's a shame. But yeah, again, the mills, they're not.
No, they're
here it is.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah. And he said he tried to look with it in like this condition. He tried to look to find the cleanest, because he knows that those bugs can show up. Mm-hmm. But he still couldn't see all of it until we start planing it. But it's usable. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't want that section, we could cut that out, and there's still usable parts on there. I mean, one of these pieces, where is it at? I think it's 15 inches across. I've got him somewhere. Where is that big boy? I don't see it now, but I think these are my wider pieces. But there's one piece that's like 15 inches across. So now you had us apply a redwood, and we made that one acoustic electric out of it. Mm-hmm. This is redwood. Feel that?
Oh yeah, it weighs nothing.
Now this is reclaimed. You can see it's got.
Yeah.
You know what this was?
Looks like it was a water bed or something.
It was a wine vat.
A wine vat?
So it was like this as it went around.
Oh, I gotcha, yeah.
So it's got the coloration from bean.
I thought maybe, it was like the footboard and it had pins or something.
Yeah, it looks like it, but this was a wine vat. So this is, I want to make some stuff out of this. I kind of showcased that it was a wine vat. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of my new equipment came in on pallets, and it was all covered with wood and strips here and there, and I took it all apart. A lot of it's like what came in like this. By the time we took it all apart, and I took the time to take all this stuff apart, and it's like, well, this is pretty bad. I wouldn't use this, but a lot of it looked like this. Right. So I said, I'm making a guitar out of the tools that are making guitars, the box it was shipped in. Right. So I took it, planed it all up, put it together, and made a pallet guitar out of the wood, which the tools were shipped in.
That's awesome.
So it became like a little fun project.
Yeah.
And, someone bought it because they loved the fact it looked cool.
Yeah.
But they also loved the fact that that's what it was made out of.
It was brown, wasn't it?
No, it was like a teal.
Okay.
A teal bluish.
Because you had another one up there that was brown. It was kind of rustic, I want to say.
Oh, I have a the barnwood base.
That's probably the one I'm thinking of.
The body was wood that was out of like an old barn grain elevator that they had, took the barn down and reclaimed it, and then they heat treated it. And the guy sells these as heat treated pieces, and they're lightweight, resonant, and they don't move. So yeah, it's nice when you can use reclaimed wood, and there's a story with it.
Right.
And it's not going to be pretty pristine, like master grade stuff or 5A or 4A, but you're bringing to life something that would have been burned. You know, it would have been scrap wood, burned or just rotted away somewhere, thrown in a dump, and use what you got, and make something out of it. And it's like it might not look the best, but when you hear it, it sounds better than the ones that look the best.
Right.
So, or could, has the potential. And then when you get it together, and then you find out, oh, this thing rings. It makes you feel good, and it makes you feel like, well, my idea, I guess, worked, or it paid off that I actually spent the time to do it.
Right.
So, up here we just got basically storage, but this is, I mean, a whole area that we have up here.
I see what you're talking about. You could put the whole repair shop
exactly
right here and be done, and then have just complete guitar sales down there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe have a little spot where they could drop it off if they didn't want to drive all the way down here, you know, but yeah, do your repairs here. This would be nice.
And that was one idea I was floating past Dan, is like, you don't necessarily have to, if people don't want to come all this way, just have someone there one day a week from this time to this time.
Taking the work orders, and
or even if it's a couple days a week. Drop them off and then bring them down here. Because that's what I'm doing now, is I'm picking up all the refinish work and builds and things like that. And then bring it here, finish it, and then we take it back down and the customer pick up there.
Yep.
But it's nice not having the customers come in here. I hate to say that.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's like,
But here we just want the work done.
right.
And the customer interaction is there.
When you get a customer in the work zone, it's really hard to work because it distracts, and then it takes your mind off of things. So
Exactly. Exactly.
Next thing you know, you got a screw up.
Right.
Because you weren't paying attention. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. So another thing that we have done somewhat in the past, and I would still like to do, is because music, especially the guitar world, it is more like a community.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to building or repair, you want to teach. Mm-hmm. To me, this is what I do. Is I like to share what I do, and people love to hear and see or experience that. We had one guy, he did one of our build classes. He did it. He said, oh, that was great. I'll never build another guitar again, but I'm glad I did it. I'll just have you build my guitars.
Right.
He educated himself to understand it takes a lot of work to do this.
Yep.
You see, going to a store, you see a line of guitars that could be anywhere from $500 to $4,000, $5,000. And you're sitting there, I don't get what the price difference is. But when you build something, and you're doing it by hand, which might be like a higher end build, a lot of handwork, versus a high capacity factory setting where it takes less skill and everyone's just working on one little part. I'm going to cut this, boom. And then it goes to the next spot and someone's putting it on a jig and it runs through a machine. Then this guy's taking it off and then he's gluing on this end, boom, and then runs through another machine. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But then you see the difference. Then when you've made one or have been taught to work on one, and then the appreciation for what it takes to build and to make that instrument. There's an appreciation for that. So we've done build classes before, but what I would really like to do to incorporate, especially with a space like this can be gone. This whole open space, do seminar and workshops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do. I know it takes a lot of time and effort and to get things together, but I think people would like it.
Stu Mack has something similar to that where they'll do a painting series or something like that.
Right.
You could do the YouTube thing as well with your class.
Sure,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah, there's a lot of options for up here. That's sure.
Yeah, and that's why getting with some of the builders here that are in Ohio, especially in mid to northeast Ohio, instead of viewing ourselves, ourselves as competition, viewing ourselves as
Allies.
collaborators and allies. Because if you're doing well, I'm probably doing well, and vice versa.
Right.
And if I help you with knowledge I have, and you help me with the knowledge you have, it doesn't make a difference that you're making a completely different guitar than I do, and my design is completely different than yours. Mm-hmm. But working together, it helps people have appreciation for all we do. And someone might like that design better than mine, and vice versa. But you don't get, unfortunately, sometimes what we see that I see in the building community is you have people who are free and open with information, like me. If you come and ask me how something's done, I'm going to tell you. And then after I explain it, the person says, well, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Then you have the person that thinks everything's a trade secret, and it's not. It's just not telling what you're doing. There's nothing, we are not reinventing the wheel.
Nope.
And now sometimes someone has a technique that cuts a job down, or a part of a job down, from 30 minutes to 10 minutes. You're like, it's an aha moment, you know, the light bulb goes off. It's like,
I've been doing it the wrong way too long, yeah.
You know, keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Or you know, I did not have the wherewithal or my thinking to dumb it down till it became that easy. And that's where you share things. There's enough repair work, there's enough finishing work to go around so everyone can be successful.
Yep.
Those who have the skill or who want to do it and put the time in. So share. So seminars, workshops could be, you know, how to set your guitar up. And every guitar player should know a little something.
Right. The way I see it too is if you're not sharing that, you're not giving knowledge to people to pass on
to
right.
other generations.
You're just going to let something die if you don't share it. So
exactly. So we had a guy, still comes in, ever since I've been at the shop. Comes in, hey Dan, can you tune my guitar up? To this day, he comes in, hey Dan, can you tune my guitar up? Whether he just can't or doesn't want to learn, he still comes in to get his guitar tuned up.
That's crazy.
We've never charged him for it.
It could be, is he older?
No, he's probably my age.
Oh, okay. Because a lot of times, you know, people...
I think he has some limited...
Yeah, they just need company a lot of times.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, and there's something to share.
Yep.
Again...
And that's another thing that makes your guys' shop so awesome, because it's like a living room where you go in there, you sit down with like-minded people, and you share your thoughts and your techniques, and you play together and try things out. So it makes it really, I don't know what the word for it is, cozy, I guess. You know, it's nice atmosphere.
My parents raised us to be personable people. We love people. And as humans, we're not, we weren't created to be islands. We're created to be communities, and we need to share things. We need to share how we feel, what's going on in life, the happy moments, the not so happy moments. And people sometimes are bringing in an instrument that had a not so happy moment.
Right.
And they're carrying, believe it or not, they're carrying, it could be guilt, it could be fear, it can be the unknown. Their biggest fear is this isn't repairable. And this was my dad's guitar, and I remember when he used to play it. He's gone, and how could I let that happen? Yeah. Or my kids know not to go into the room, and all of a sudden I come in the next day and the headstock's hanging off, and everyone says, it wasn't me.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of things that are going in there,
Yep.
and then someone comes in and you just gotta, it'll be all right. It's gonna be okay. There's in a lot of,
Well, nothing's permanent. You can't take nothing with you. So
well,
you get into a situation like that, it's a bummer, but you make the best of it.
and like I tell any of the guys that come work with me, you know, there's mistakes that are made and you're learning. I said, there's nothing you can do, any mistake that you can do that I haven't done already. So they get bummed quick. It's like, oh man, I should have did. I looked at them and said, you can't go back and
Right.
change it. It's about, have you learned enough knowledge and experience to fix it?
Yep.
If I worried about all my little mistakes, I wouldn't get out of bed. Or I'd come in here like, am I going to make a mistake today on this? This is a $30,000 guitar and I can't make a mistake. If I had to live like that, I wouldn't do this.
Right.
I can't look at it and say, well, this is just so valuable.
Right.
Then look at a 500 guitar and say, well, this isn't. I guess I can just leave it tossed to the side. I'm not going to approach either one differently.
Right.
It's they need some kind of attention. That's the attention we're going to give it. And so talking to a client that comes in that might have these feelings of can it be repaired? They're afraid they can't be repaired, or their expectation is so low that anything you do, and they come back and they think you're the greatest person in the world, and you're like, no, I just do my work.
Right.
I'm no one special. So you have to be humble. And then sometimes someone comes in with the highest expectation,
And
you
can't
have to,
please them.
you never would be able to.
Mm-hmm.
So you lower the expectation and tell them it may turn out like a headstock break. It could be a clean headstock break. And you're like, it looks clean, and I think I can glue this back up and you'll never tell. But I won't tell them that.
Right.
Say, oh no, this will come out perfect. You glue it back, two can look like the same type of break. You glue this one back and it dogs you.
Mm-hmm.
It glues fine. It's going to function.
So it's got that ridge. And
it didn't quite go back, so now I got to sand. Now it burns through some of the color, but we're not refinishing the neck. So can I touch it up? Well, some colors are easier to touch up than others. It's white with the little aging on it.
Like black, there's 9 million shades.
Right.
Yep.
But if it's white, there's 9 million too, and you're trying to mix a dye in to yellow it up a little bit, or to brown it up, or to orange it up, and then it looks great, and you spray it, you put a coat clear, you're like, that is so far off. You sand it back down,
Yep.
remix it, do it. Now it's too light. It's hard to express to a customer or client that those are the possibilities. Why worry them? It's like you go to the doctor, I got a lump. He's not going to tell you it's cancer.
Right.
He's like, we're going to take it step by step.
Right.
No matter what it is, it can be just a benign mass that we don't have to do anything with, or we can remove it, or it could be stage 1, or it could be stage 4. Whatever it is, we're going to take it step by step.
I'd say broken headstock, stage 4.
It almost automatically always feels like a stage 4,
Yeah.
and many times it's not.
No.
And it depends on what kind of break it is. If it's a knuckle break,
That's where it's just flat, right?
yeah, where the angle comes in, it's almost like flat to the
Right.
truss rod.
Yep.
There's major considerations there versus one that breaks like this,
Yeah. the
That's
happy
easy.
Face, yeah.
you know, or one that breaks up towards the headstock this way. You know, those usually repair very well. And if they align well and the one piece isn't sticking out a little bit, maybe it just is a little off, you can't tell by eye, but you feel it, and now you got to sand it, now you blow through the color. Then if it's cherry, see-through cherry, that probably you could,
Probably get away with.
yeah, you touch up a little bit and then spread the cherry around.
Yep.
But if you got a TV yellow, a vintage TV yellow, it's like there's so many things going on there. From the filler that they used, the base coat that they used, then the lacquer has aged. It's got little weather checking on it. How are you going to replicate that?
Right.
So there's, just depends on the level. But telling the customers, relax. We'll make it the best it can be.
Right. And you guys do great work. So I hope more people come to you guys when they need repairs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we gain the trust of our customers, and it always seems like we do. Been around since 1962. But you just made a comment that you can't please everyone. We're humans. Mistakes are made, or expectations are not always fulfilled. But at the end, you know, our goal always is it functional? Have we fixed it so it's functional and better than what it was? I think that's always the goal, and sometimes you can't beat yourself up so much if you've accomplished that.
Right.
But most of the time is you try to keep things low in your expectations, so at the end, when that glue up went fine, went great, really, and even if you had to do touch up, but I can't see it, and there's a joy that you feel. And then the customer comes in and is like, where was it broke? And now how does he feel? So all those negative feelings he had have gone away. And so in some ways you're like a doctor, you know.
Right.
It could be a psychologist or a psychologist, and you know, but you have to have a very calm effect, and you can't blow things out of proportion, even though when they look like they're pretty rough. Sometimes we do a job and we're like, this is going to be awful. I did a Rickenbacker that was just, it was a rare vintage Rickenbacker that had been destroyed. Different pickup routings over and over.
Really?
The brace inside was coming off, and the neck was loose. I took the thing completely apart, and I'm like, this is not going to be great. But it took me time, and I kept, what if I do this, and start doing things, and then let it rest. And while I'm doing work, it's back in your mind working. And then one day you come back, that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
And you give yourself that time. And when it was done, I was like, I felt proud because it wasn't what I expected.
Right.
And it turned out greater and better than some of the easy, oh, this is just a simple restoration. It brought me more joy. And the customer was like, what? And now he has a piece that's a rare piece. It's restored. He's not going to tell anyone it's original, but where's he going to find it?
Right, you're not.
And if later on he wanted to sell it, find another one, you know?
Yep.
So those are the joys that you get. And those are moments you keep in mind. It's not the mistakes that are made that can always be repaired. And I tell any guy coming in, like I said, there's nothing you can do that I haven't done. So when it happens, just come to me,
right?
And I'll step you through.
Yep.
And it's a teaching moment. And that repair might not have ever come in for another 2 years, but now I can teach you.
Yep.
And this is what you do. And you're teaching them how to think. You're teaching them how to troubleshoot. You're teaching them mentally, even sometimes before you start the project. Here's probably the process. And we're going to keep each step. I thought I was going to do this, but you go over here. Or here you go over here. And the end result is what you want. Right. So that's the joy. And like I said, doing seminars or workshops where we might not get into those specific things, but teaching a little bit of something of your knowledge, that people appreciate what you do and realize this isn't easy. Or it could be, this is awesome. And this is what I want to do.
Right.
So I don't have kids.
No, I don't either.
So young guys like Nick, I say, I want a young person who has a passion. He's got a passion. And he loves guitars. He loves vintage guitars. He does his research. And I saw this. He's told me stuff that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because It not necessarily is going to change how I do things, but that's his passion. And I know he loves the work. So I'll teach him anything because he's going to eat it up and he wants to learn. So who are we going to leave our legacy to?
Exactly, yeah.
So even if we have the name Lays, that's not my last name. Everyone said, why didn't you change it to Shin? I'm like, why? Putting my name on something, what is it? I don't care about that.
Right.
This is the legacy, that it can pass from one family or person to another. And then I told him and my niece is over there with my brother, and then another young guy it's a great tech. I said, when we're gone, or we can't do the work anymore, you've got to do it. And if we don't teach you, when we decide to give it up, that door locks, the light goes off.
It's done. Yep.
Then what? Who are people going to go to? They're going to have to go find someone else,
right.
And they're going to I wish they were still around.
Yeah.
Versus if we teach, we know there's someone's going to be around, you know? Yep. So that's kind of
like my upholstery. It's a dying art.
Yep.
It really is. And it's a shame, but I think the guitar thing is going to hang on a lot more than the auto upholstery.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. It's a special talent that is slowly fading off.
Well, what happens if someone still comes in with I'm not into cars that much, but a 1960 whatever it is, and the seats are ripped. You're not going to be able to go to Chrysler, GM, Mercedes, whatever it is, and say, yeah, I need that replacement part. They're like, you got to find someone who can do that work.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So if there's still value in vintage cars, there's always going to be someone who wants that.
Right.
If there's no more value, if another 50 years people look at those cars as ancient, and now the cars today are the ones that they're looking for, well, someone's going to have to fix that GPS monitor you have, and they're like, that's ancient. You know, mine comes on the windshield. Right. Or we got flying cars. But someone's saying, but that was cool. That was the year that this, and this.
Right.
And someone's going to have to fix that. Yeah. It's the same with guitars. Yeah. So you have to teach, these techniques to someone to take the baton later on, And when you have someone who loves the work,
well, it was
it's
cool
easy.
Hearing how you guys started working out of the garage with your dad, and now here you are today.
Yep.
And this place is what, about 2 years now? Maybe a year and a half?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years here.
Yep. Because right around the time you guys opened this place, things got real hectic for me, and I stopped coming down on a regular basis. And
yeah. But I love the space. It gives me a joy. I gotta go drive right by the old shop. Was only like 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
I drive right past it on the highway to get here, and 35, sometimes 40 minutes.
Right.
And you're like, oh, that's a bummer. But you know what? I feel at ease. And that's a good feeling, to be somewhere where you're comfortable and you feel like you can work.
Yep.
The space that we have here, and if we can use some of the space that we have to do something else, and to be able to teach someone else,
right.
A skill set. And the other thing I say too is, if we would have seminars and workshops teaching maybe simple setup work first. Mm-hmm. Later on you can have one nut making or saddle making for acoustic. It could be level crown and polish, how to do a full setup. It could be how to refret.
Basically just keeping your guitar maintained and operating.
Yeah, or to building.
Yeah.
Whether you want to put a kit together so you learn each part and how everything fits together and how it works, or
Yeah,
building out of scratch.
It didn't work out so well.
What?
I got a $500 kit from StuMac, body built, and I thought, oh, it'd be like a Les Paul. I'll glue the neck on and be done, you know, a little color. No, you got to put the frets in, all kinds of stuff. It's not. You don't just throw it together. And
No.
Yeah.
And if you're coming off knowing nothing, or I just watch videos,
Yep.
then you're like, well, how am I going to accomplish this?
Yep.
Do I really have the right tools? If I buy tools, is this the right tool? Is it quality?
Right.
Is it? And all these things happen versus here it's like I could take a kit guitar and put together so quick because we also have the other tools.
Right.
If it doesn't quite fit right, we know how to make that neck joint fit great, or touch up the solder joints, whatever it is. So doing seminars or workshops that would help someone so they feel at ease doing that, and they might feel intimidated, but if they're here, it's like, no, okay, I see what's happening here. Explain why it's happened. How are you gonna resolve the issue? And don't worry, it's gonna be good at the end. You know,
Yep.
even to a full build, because if someone says, I want to build my own neck, my own body, don't think you're not going to have mistakes in there. But is there a remedy to solve the mistake? I don't care if a piece of wood, chunk of wood flew out. Can that be repaired? Yeah, I do it all the time when I'm restoring something. So someone put a route that shouldn't be there in a vintage Strat. You say, well, I'm going to throw this. No, you don't throw it away. Okay, we're going to fix it. We're going to make it the best possible. Even if you have to tell someone later on, well, this was fixed, they look at, well, that is a professional job.
Right.
Versus, you know, did you use a screwdriver to chisel that out? You know,
Right.
You could tell the difference, right? And we fix a lot of those type of damage that had been done by someone who just wanted to do something. They didn't have the tools to do it or the knowledge, and that's the best they could do to get what they were trying to do, put that pickup in or whatever it was. So if someone comes in, they have some that feeling of intimidation, don't worry about it. We'll step you through. And it would be a great way to see who's got skill and talent and who has a passion. And if that's something they would like to do.
Well, you guys, are you guys looking for anybody to come and help?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment, but you're always looking for people who have a talent, and you can always take on work that you just wouldn't take on.
Right.
Or you take on the work and it's like, I don't know when I'm going to get that done, but you have someone who has a skill set and says, okay, we can move on that quick. You know, and the quicker things move in and out, financially and as a business, the better it is, right? And so everyone benefits. The customer benefits, we benefit, and whoever you're employing has a job and can feed themselves. So I look at, I wish I could teach everybody how to do this or that, or people who would really like to do it. And you find nice individuals that you would get along with,
Right.
and you wish you could bring them into the fold, so to speak, and spend time with them and get to know each other and feed off each other.
Right.
And that's why I said it a little while ago, collaboration with other builders. They shouldn't be your competition. And you're at a guitar show, you're looking at each other, who's up? You know, and afraid to go look at their stuff, like, I'm not looking.
Yeah.
But we all know, we see another builder, repairman, whatever it is, we're inspecting what they did, and you're trying to figure out how they did it.
Right.
And guess what? When they come by you, they're thinking the same thing.
Right.
And if someone comes up to me and says, well, how did you, I'll explain to them how they did it.
Right. Because just because you told them how they did it or you did it don't mean they can do it.
And that could be just, it's more work than I want to do, or I'm not set up to do that. But now I know you can do that. I've got this job, but I can't do this part. Can I have you do it? Yeah. Sorry, that is a very loud compressor. Let's go down.
Steve stashing the Epiphone amp up there? Or did you drag that here?
He brought it down for us just so once we're done with a guitar build, we can just make sure, you know, everything's working. And
so you needed a tube half stack for that, right?
That's what he had, you know. We'll take it.
Right.
We'll take it. It's a pretty cool amp.
Yeah, it is.
Nickel, he's been seeing some of our videos that we've been doing after we do a build, and he's a great player.
Him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of his videos.
So he'll test stuff out.
Yep.
And since he's a good player, he knows what he's looking for.
Right.
So it's like, no, I got to tweak this, and he said, whatever you need to do, take the strings off if he's got it. This one's a little high, you know, and then he ends up setting it out so a player could play it. So that helps out a lot as well. So, but he's a good guy, he's a good worker. He's doing a great job. So.
All right, well, I think that gets us through the whole shop, and had an awesome conversation with you. I hope other people enjoy it as well, and I hope it brings you guys some more business, repairs, custom builds.
We appreciate it. Like I said, I love to talk
Guitar talk.
Talk shop, and I don't talk about the guitars I've had or don't have. To me, it's about this is a cool build.
Right.
And once it's done, I hope it, you know, it's really well received.
Yeah.
And when you get that, it feels like a good approval, you know, from the public. So that's what we keep trying to do.
Oh, and upstairs we were talking about all that sharing and stuff. We're going to talk about sharing those walnut necks over there.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
All right,
but thanks,
buddy.
Chris.
Well,
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
And we'll be stopping by Lay's on the way back, and we'll get another shot of those custom builds that you had at the show.
Sure. Good thing.
Thanks a lot, buddy, and
No
until
problem.
next time.
All right.